Have you ever wondered who laid the foundation for modern chemistry more than 1,000 years before the scientific revolution? Long before laboratories filled with advanced equipment, one brilliant mind was already experimenting, discovering, and changing the course of science forever. His name was Jabir ibn Hayyan, a visionary scholar whose groundbreaking work earned him the title the father of chemistry. But who was this extraordinary man? Was he simply an alchemist searching for gold? Or was he a true scientific genius whose discoveries shaped the modern world? Why do many history books barely mention his incredible achievements? In this video, we'll uncover the untold story of Jabir ibn Hayyan, his remarkable experiments, revolutionary inventions, and the lasting legacy that influenced generations of scientists across the globe. Stay with us until the end, because the truth about this forgotten legend might completely change the way you see the history of science. Imagine a world without chemistry. No medicines, no clean drinking water, no perfumes, no plastics, no batteries, and no modern laboratories. It is almost impossible to picture our lives without these discoveries. But have you ever wondered where the science of chemistry truly began? Most people think of famous European scientists when they hear the word chemistry. Yet centuries before the scientific revolution, one remarkable scholar laid the foundations for experimental science. His name was Jabir ibn Hayyan, a man remembered by many as the father of chemistry. His story begins in the 8th century, during the Golden Age of Islamic civilization, a time when science, medicine, mathematics, and philosophy flourished across the Middle East. While Europe was still passing through the early Middle Ages, cities such as Kufa and Baghdad were becoming centers of learning where scholars from different cultures exchanged ideas. It was in this extraordinary environment that Jabir ibn Hayyan emerged as one of history's greatest scientific minds. Although historians disagree about some details of his early life, many believe Jabir was born around 721 CE in the region of Tus, in present-day Iran. His father was believed to be Hayyan, a pharmacist who had a deep interest in medicine and natural sciences. Unfortunately, Jabir's father was executed because of political conflicts, forcing the family into a difficult life. Despite these hardships, the young Jabir developed an intense curiosity about the natural world. As he grew older, Jabir traveled in search of knowledge. He studied medicine, philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, and natural sciences. One of his greatest influences was the famous scholar Imam Jafar al-Sadiq, who encouraged observation, logical thinking, and the careful study of nature. Instead of accepting ancient beliefs without question, Jabir learned to investigate them through experiments. This simple idea would change science forever. During Jabir's time, many people believed in alchemy, the mysterious practice of transforming ordinary metals into gold and discovering the secret of eternal life. While Jabir also studied alchemy, he approached it differently. Rather than relying only on magical ideas or mystical theories, he insisted that experiments should be repeated carefully and observations recorded accurately. Today, this sounds obvious, but in the 8th century, it was revolutionary. Instead of guessing, Jabir tested. Instead of assuming, he observed. Instead of believing stories, he demanded evidence. These principles eventually became the foundation of the scientific method. Jabir spent countless hours performing experiments in his laboratory. He heated minerals, mixed chemicals, observed reactions, and carefully documented his findings. Every successful experiment brought new knowledge, while every failure taught another lesson. One of Jabir's greatest contributions was improving laboratory equipment. Many historians believe he developed or refined tools that scientists still recognize today. Among them was the alembic, a special apparatus used for distillation. Distillation is the process of heating a liquid until it turns into vapor and then cooling the vapor back into liquid. This method allows different substances to be separated according to their boiling points. Today, distillation is used everywhere, from producing medicines and perfumes to refining petroleum and purifying drinking water. Imagine discovering such a technique over 1,200 years ago. Jabir also described important laboratory procedures such as crystallization, evaporation, filtration, sublimation, and calcination. These methods remain essential in chemistry laboratories around the world. His work transformed chemistry from mystical speculation into an experimental science. Jabir also made significant advances in identifying and preparing chemical substances. His writings mention sulfuric compounds, nitric compounds, mercury, arsenic, salts, and various acids. Although historians continue debating exactly which discoveries belong directly to him and which came from later scholars writing under his name, there is little doubt that his school of thought dramatically expanded chemical knowledge. His research influenced industries far beyond science. Metalworkers improved the quality of steel. Perfumers developed better fragrances. Textile workers produced stronger dyes. Glassmakers refined their techniques. Pharmacists created more effective medicines. Even leather production benefited from improved chemical treatments. Few scientists in history have influenced so many different professions. Jabir believed knowledge should be organized systematically. Rather than collecting random observations, he classified substances according to their properties. This approach made chemistry easier to study and laid the groundwork for future scientific classification. Another remarkable aspect of Jabir's work was his attention to precision. He insisted that measurements should be accurate, experiments should be repeatable, observations should be carefully written down. Conclusions should come from evidence. These ideas sound completely modern because they remain central to science today. Jabir was also an incredibly productive writer. Tradition credits him with hundreds of books and treatises covering chemistry, medicine, astronomy, mathematics, philosophy, and engineering. Although modern historians believe some later works were incorrectly attributed to him, many authentic writings survive and demonstrate the enormous breadth of his knowledge. Among his famous works are the Book of Chemistry and the Book of 70, which were translated into Latin centuries later. In medieval Europe, scholars knew him by the name Geber. This Latin version of his name became famous throughout European universities. For hundreds of years, European students studied books attributed to Geber, learning chemical techniques that had originally developed in the Islamic world. His influence quietly crossed continents. Long before the Renaissance, Jabir's ideas were already shaping European science. Scientists such as Albertus Magnus, Roger Bacon, and many later chemists encountered works inspired by Jabir's research. His emphasis on experimentation helped inspire the transition from medieval alchemy toward modern chemistry. In many ways, Jabir built the bridge between ancient philosophy and modern laboratory science. Yet, despite these extraordinary achievements, his name is often missing from popular history. Why? Part of the reason lies in history itself. Many scientific discoveries traveled across cultures over centuries. As knowledge was translated from Arabic into Latin and then into other European languages, the original authors were sometimes forgotten. Later scientists received greater recognition because they expanded or refined earlier discoveries, but history is gradually correcting this oversight. Today, scholars increasingly acknowledge Jabir ibn Hayyan as one of the greatest scientists of the medieval world. His legacy reaches far beyond chemistry. He demonstrated that curiosity is stronger than superstition, that careful observation is more valuable than blind belief, that knowledge grows through experimentation. These principles define science even today. Imagine entering Jabir's laboratory more than 12 centuries ago. Shelves lined with minerals, glass vessels bubbling over open flames, metal instruments carefully arranged, notes covering every observation, hours of patient work, no computers, no electricity. No modern measuring devices, only curiosity, discipline, and determination. It was inside such a humble laboratory that the foundations of one of humanity's greatest sciences were quietly being built. Modern chemistry has advanced far beyond anything Jabir could have imagined. Scientists now explore atoms, molecules, DNA, nanotechnology, and quantum chemistry. Yet every laboratory experiment still follows the same basic principles he championed. Observe carefully, forge accurately, experiment repeatedly, record honestly, trick conclusions from evidence. These timeless rules continue guiding scientific discovery across the globe. Jabir's life also teaches an important lesson. Great discoveries rarely happen overnight. They require patience, but persent. Countless failures and an endless desire to understand the unknown. Every experiment that failed brought him one step closer to success. Every observation expanded humanity's understanding of nature. Every book preserved knowledge for future generations. That is the mark of a true scientist. Today, whether medicine saved lives, clean water reaches our homes, or advanced materials make modern technology possible, chemistry touches nearly every aspect of human civilization. And behind this incredible science stands a forgotten pioneer whose dedication transformed curiosity into knowledge. Jabir ibn Hayyan was more than an alchemist. He was more than a philosopher. He was more than a scholar. He was a visionary whose commitment to experimentation changed the history of science forever. His name deserves to stand alongside the greatest scientific minds in history because long before chemistry became a modern science, one man dared to ask questions others ignored. One man chose experiments over myths. One man transformed observation into discovery, and one man left behind a legacy that still shapes our world more than 1,200 years later. That man was Jabir ibn Hayyan, the father of chemistry. If you enjoyed discovering the incredible story of this forgotten scientific legend, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another fascinating journey into the lives of history's greatest minds. Let us know in the comments which historical legend you would like to explore next. Until then, keep learning, keep questioning, and remember, history is filled with remarkable stories waiting to be uncovered. As we come to the end of Jabir ibn Hayyan's incredible story, one thing becomes clear. True greatness isn't measured by fame. It's measured by the impact left on future generations. More than 12 centuries ago, Jabir showed the world that curiosity, careful observation, and experimentation could unlock the secrets of nature. His work laid the foundation for modern chemistry and inspired countless scientists who followed. If you enjoyed this journey into the life of one of history's greatest scientific minds, please support the channel by liking this video, subscribing, and turning on the notification bell. Every week, we uncover the untold stories of the world's most remarkable historical figures. Thank you for watching Legends of History. Until next time, keep exploring the past because history is never just about yesterday. It's the key to understanding our world today.